Hello, everyone, and welcome to My Perspective Monday. Oh my God, it's so good to see everyone today. Let's give a hand out to the cast here. So glad to see everyone. Hope you guys are enjoying the holidays so far, all the cheer. But we got a great subject tonight. We want to know, what are you looking forward to in 2023 for yourself and society, okay? That's what we want to know.
And if you're wondering what that echo is, you are not in a hallway. Henry has a really, really cheap uh, audio setup. That's what it is. He's really cheap.
Yes, I do.
So, so
So
what?
what I want to say real quick is I was on Weedie's channel today with his awesome members, and I gave away some free memberships, and I told them his viewers if they came on tonight commented that they would be putting a raffle to get a free membership, and I already see. I think this is one of your people, Lee
Yep.
Brooks.
This is Crooks and Castle.
So look, don't
Yeah.
shoot. All right. Hopefully he'll get the 3 month membership.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's very active, has a positive attitude, and is just a great person to be around.
So
He's
that
my
was
kind
great.
of person.
So those of you who are on here, when you get to where we're hoping to get where Weenie is on YouTube, where you can offer memberships
Oh
to
yeah.
people, they'll pay a certain price, they'll get certain exclusives. Like we might do a members only special, or we'll do something
Ooh.
like Mark might give 10 tips of motivation, but it'll only be for the members, and they have access to those
Are you
things.
serious?
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
what happened is
From me?
you
Yeah.
you can gift memberships to people, and so that's what I did today. I gifted 25 memberships uh, to Weenie at about $4.99 a pop.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much, Keone. That was amazing. It really livened up the stream. Everybody was having a blast. There is music playing in the background each time that it goes through. It was so much fun. Everybody was hyped up. Everybody was also a lot of people at least were making money during the stream. So it just was just an awesome atmosphere and a great way to tell people about Keone Productions. So hopefully a lot of members are joining on in and will think of you when they're utilizing their membership benefits during those private live streams.
I got 15 subscribers for you this morning, so it was well worth the
Hey,
10.
you deserve it. That's awesome.
Well, I'm ready.
Everybody here deserves it.
I'm ready to be a life coach, so send them on.
Whoa.
Woo!
I'm a
Mark's like,
positive
that's what
person.
I need, more students.
I have a positive attitude.
Yeah.
I
Gotta
don't
be
give a shit what
positive.
anybody says.
Mark, what if we do a members only Lissette's tips to a good dining experience?
Yeah,
That'd
that'll
be
work.
like that'd be like Babylon B on social media.
Let's make sure the bathroom's got some soap in it, all right?
Oh boy.
Or I have an even better one. Henry's tips to a successful relationship.
He's thinking, okay, sure.
Henry,
Wait, what?
did that stun you, Henry?
Yes, I am.
You don't want to give out relationship advice?
Relationship advice? Oh my god, no. I don't want to do that no more.
He said no more. So that means you were doing it before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear they had another jumper last night that couldn't talk down after taking Henry's advice on a relationship.
Ah, oh my
Found him
God.
floating in the LA River this morning.
Ask growth, like they ask you a bunch of shit, but they'll never do the thing that you tell them to do.
Well, that's
We're
the
not
best
following
part.
through.
That's the best part about taking someone's advice. You really don't do what they tell you to do, right? Right? You really don't do what they tell you to do.
The best piece of advice I ever gave was to never give advice and never take advice.
What's the thing that teachers used to do when they tell you, um, they'll be writing on the board and they're like, you may want to take notes on this. Like they just give you the hint, you may want to take notes on this. Wait, where did he go? Oh, this.
Stage. There we go. Hello. For whatever reason, I just disappeared. Just a momentary break. Another pee break.
All right, so back to what Lisette was talking about. She asked us, what are we expecting for ourselves or hoping for ourselves in 2023 or society? Woo! That could be an easy or a heavy question.
Society, forget it.
Mark!
You look. You only have control over what you do. I mean, we all do. We only have we have limited control over our little corner of the world, and we realize that we log on to see all the craziness, whether it's on social media, the news media, and whatnot. There's nothing to do about that. Let it go. Don't let it affect you.
Yeah, but doesn't all of our little things add up to where we were part of
Well,
society?
yeah, it
Well,
can, but you have no control over that. I have no control over what the four of you do.
yeah,
Uh,
well, you may not have control as the four of us do, but the people that you impact on a daily basis, it's not control, but come on. We're not going to act
well,
like we've
all
never
right.
almost.
Then I do best for them and for you and everyone else I come into contact with,
Uh,
family, friends, students, etc., by taking care of me. And that doesn't mean to the exclusion of helping anybody else. But
Mark,
I'm a little bit of the Ayn Rand, the
Mark.
Fountainhead
So you're
school of
saying
thought.
lead by example, and then it'll reflect and radiate from
No,
Something
everybody
like
that
that.
that you
You know,
talk to.
the analogy that I've heard used when talking about, say, if you're on an airline flight,
uh,
Henry, just be quiet for a minute, all right? 'Cause I don't hear about your bathroom stories in the airlines, uh,
Thank you.
but how the FAA gives you the instructions, and when the mask that comes down, and it says you cover your face first, and then if there's someone beside you, a child, whatever, you do you first, then you do them, because you can't help them until you help yourself.
yeah, but Mark, you're a little humble and you try to downplay the effect you have. Mark, you've had an unbelievable effect on me, even though I was coaching you. You know how much I've learned from you in terms of making better decisions, just things that I've done? You cannot underplay the impact that you have on other people.
Yeah, but just that's by taking care of me.
I
And
know
hopefully, like Weenie says, it radiates to other people, and hopefully in a good way. And sometimes it probably does.
it does most of
But
the time.
I'm not really doing it consciously. I just
Yeah,
and if it has some kind of positive impact, then so be it. I've also found that in the course of raising children and dealing with students, that people really latch on to the dumb, stupid things you say too. So you gotta be careful.
Yeah, they'll always remember the stupidest things that you'll say, but not always the smartest
Yeah, I
things.
mean, I drop 5 or 6 f-bombs in class. Everybody remembers it.
Oh,
True
That's for
story.
sure. Yeah, remember
that's
that.
I
true.
know this time you did that, Mark.
Well,
Okay.
they remembered it.
I'll be right back.
Do you have tenure yet?
Do I have what?
Do you have tenure yet?
Oh yeah,
Okay, you can drop the F bombs. Oh
not
man.
much.
Yeah,
Well,
but
when we're on something like My Perspective Monday, you potentially have a huge impact on the world. There's replay value on YouTube. There's replay value on the internet. You never know who's going to
Oh yeah,
listen or
sure.
see and resonate with something that you say. So every opportunity that you have to make the world a better place, especially when you have something like the internet, I think you should use it to make the world a better place. And you'll never be able to directly see the effects until it comes back around towards you and somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, you changed my life," or "That thing you said that one time really helped me out in this scenario." And so
But
just constantly
I
think of
agree.
that.
It's just
Yeah.
we're kind of saying the same thing in a different way, but I do that by taking care of me, and I don't mean
Yeah.
that to sound selfish or what have you. All
No,
right,
it's
but
true.
I mean, the first thing to do is take care of yourself, do the best you can for yourself, and hopefully some good radiates from that. It doesn't mean that you don't, give things away or help people out by any means, but you can't take care of others until you take care of yourself.
I
Yeah,
can
true story.
understand. I can understand what you're saying, Mark,
Yeah,
because you know that you do got to take care of yourself.
yeah.
Um, but at the same time, I try to encourage people. That's what I do every day. I try to, because people do watch you.
Yeah.
So I really try to encourage people and try to, you know,
I think the difference is the conscious effort and the not conscious effort, where he's just
Mm.
doing it because it's just him and it's happening, and where you're actually thinking about it while you're doing it, and Mark's just doing it, whether he thinks it's a good thing or not. That's why, really, you said replay value and people watching. That's why some people get mad at me when I do this on my other shows when someone says something to a religious effect, like when they're trying to motivate someone, and they'll say something like, "Well, just believe in God and blah 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 blah." And there's nothing wrong with that, but I always follow it up with, or whatever divinity you pray to, or whatever religion you are, because I always think it's important to make sure that no one is left out. No one is left out of that bubble. And just because you're in a different religion does not mean you can't be blessed by whatever religious belief that you have. And that's something I always try to bring to the forefront because I know everyone's not Christian.
Well,
You know,
again,
I can
I
understand
agree.
what you're saying, but I can only give you what I know that helps me. But I absolutely don't want to leave anyone out.
Well,
But
Keone, I
I
agree
can
up to a
testify.
point though, and I know I don't have a real firm leg to stand on when I say this, but when it comes to religious beliefs, just because someone believes it does not necessarily make it good. And I'm not talking about a religion other than Christianity necessarily,
Right?
um, but there are some people that have some very, very misguided religious beliefs, and I'm talking about some people that are professing Christians, by the way, as well as some other religions too. So, um, yeah, I don't really have a hard and fast answer. And I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I really do.
tracking on the positives.
Yeah,
I don't really not commenting on some of the things that just don't make any. Like for instance, Stone Cold Steve Austin of all people. Uh, it was a tweet, or he said in an interview. He's Christian, but he was like, so a guy wants to get married to a guy, and he's going to go straight to hell. But then you have this guy that cheats on his wife, molests children, go to jail, and because now he repents and believes in God, he's going to heaven. He's like, get out of here with that. And so
Well,
I
I
don't
mean,
think everything, but it's we're talking about belief and empowerment and self care, whatever your religious belief is that brings that positivity to you, I just say go with it. That's great.
yeah, I'm okay with that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Terrence says you can influence more people than you know. A word of encourage makes a difference in someone's life. And Teresa Raspberry, is that a weenie person?
Not that I know
Okay. Teresa
of.
Raspberry.
Welcome,
misguided
Teresa.
religious
Wait,
belief.
that might have sounded weird, Teresa, if I said, is Teresa a weenie person? So I have to give
Huh?
context. Weenie on here from Weenie Trades
Misguided.
Live.
There's only one weenie on this show, I tell you.
Yeah, there's only one weenie on this show.
He has a lot of subscribers that'll come on our show, so I was just seeing if you
Yeah,
were.
the market's going sideways this week.
Oh,
Yep, that's correct.
was that your Weenie impression?
Oh
Uh,
yeah, that was good.
It's not my best effort.
Teresa
I'll work
says
on
That
it.
was A plus.
This person has a question.
example of misguided religious
Religious belief.
beliefs. That's what I was
Mm.
trying to say.
An example
Misguided.
of a misguided religious belief is I can if I had time I'd give you more. All right, let's go back to one that's something that's no longer in vogue anywhere in the world that I'm aware of. But what about human sacrifice? Was a religious belief at one time
Yeah.
Mm.
in a lot of religions. The idea that killing others in the name of God, and I'm not just talking about Islam when I say that, by the way. There are other religions that subscribe to that idea too.
Yeah, we did it.
Those are misguided
Oh,
religious
yeah.
beliefs.
Yeah, or anytime someone can take your religion and preach it in a way to have people follow it massively and not follow its original intent, or sometimes its original intent. Uh, I like how a lot of women won't have they have the honor and obey taken out of um, their wedding. They don't allow the pastor to say that. How many men have used that line to be overbearing towards their wife? You
Your
do
wives obey
everything
your husbands.
I
Yeah.
say when I
That
say
has
it,
happened.
how I say it, because that's what it says. But they control the context of what it means. You know,
Honor and obey.
yeah. Just because
Mm.
someone says, think about this. Back in the day, centuries ago, you could do something and say, God told you to do it, and you would be fine. God told me to lay waste to this entire city, and that was God's will. Do that shit today, okay? And you'll be in the very happy.
Salem witch trials.
Well, that's
God is
another
not.
day. It's a different day and time.
Yeah, so, but that doesn't mean everyone that was saying it back then, they were actually talking to God. But some people may have taken that as gospel, and now it's in the book. So,
I can understand what you're saying. It's just like I think anytime anything that would make you think contrary that God is not love and that He's not about love, then that's misguided
Well, we
because
But
grew
He
you can
is
up
also
like
about
get
that.
love.
that. But you can
We
also
grew
get
up
that from
like
reading the Old Testament.
we
You
grew
know,
up like that, Lisette. I mean, I'm old enough to remember the most of the churches I went to when I was little. Every Sunday was hellfire and brimstone. God is vengeful. He will punish you. He will smite you. He will. And then now I've seen the evolution. I'm old enough to see the evolution of churches where when I do go into a church now, it's uplifting. It's positivity. It's all of this. It
Now,
wasn't like that when I was a kid.
about the hell and brimstone, it kind of reminds me of children. You know, if you say to your children, if you walk across the street and you don't look where you're going, the car's gonna run over you. You'll get ran over. Sometimes we think love is all not trying to direct you the right way to go. You know, trying to keep you out of trouble, so to say. We tell our daughters, don't be giving it up to everybody, because there's all kind of things gonna happen. If you're not being protective, you're gonna mess around, get a baby, or you might get something else. So we're not trying to run their life.
I love how this conversation that we veered off to, Henry the entire time has been smoking and drinking during this entire religious conversation. I just love it. He's like,
well, and the set was talking when Clarence chimed in. Did you
uh-huh.
see what he
What did
said?
he say?
Clarence said that read the Bible. It's something. Uh, you'll find
A lot of
lots of people
people.
killed in the name of the Lord, especially in
Well,
the Old
you know
Testament.
what? A lot of Christians have never even read the Bible from the back. They've gone to
Absolutely.
church their
That's
entire
true.
lives and listened to whatever sermon was being preached that day. I remember a lady told my Muslim friend, she's like, "You guys are terrible. You're the only religion that kills in the name of God." And I was like, "What are you? Did you really just say that?" And then I asked her, I said, "What did you think Moses and his people were doing when they wandered the desert all those years and they came up upon people with food and water? You think they asked for it nicely,
Well,
or did
God
they,
supplied
And
it. He
Joshua.
supplied them their water and
he
food.
supply? Okay, let me tell you something. They wandered the desert for hundreds of years. I guarantee you they ran up on some people and took their shit.
Well,
Because this is what'll happen. Me, you, and
maybe,
me
maybe after
in
Go
the
and
Moses.
take,
desert.
go and take that land. Go and take that
Me,
land. Go
me,
and
After
smite the
Moses,
people.
look,
yeah.
what's that?
Yeah,
Me,
he
you,
did.
and me are walking in the desert, and you're like, "Oh Lord, please supply us with food and water." And all of a sudden, Mark and Henry come walking by with food and water. What did he say? Thank you, Lord. Bash him over the head.
Yeah.
After Moses died, yeah.
Henry comes by smoking a
What do
doobie.
you mean
Yeah, they
after?
did.
It wasn't after.
You know,
Thank you, Lord.
Stop
Because
it.
when Moses was living, the Lord supplied them with their water and their food and stuff. They did.
Okay.
But after Moses died, they did take some
All
villages
right.
and places.
Next
Yeah.
year,
Read,
I'm gonna go get me some chocolate Easter bunnies.
read, read the books. Read the books of Samuel and Kings. It's one war, one mass murder after another.
Oh,
And I'm a
Well,
professing Christian too, by the way. I'm not trying to deconstruct Christianity. That's just
Well,
true.
and that's the thing I like about that's the one thing I can tell you I like about the Bible. It doesn't hide all the bad shit that Christians did with all the good stuff, but we choose to pick the positive stuff and ignore all the terrible things that we did to other people. We're just gonna ignore
and
them.
look, I
yeah,
absolutely agree. When you do not let love be the first forefront of the Bible, then you run into times like we have it now, where people are professing to love and yet they're hating people.
What does
They're
love
hating.
have to do with the walls of Jericho, laid to waste every man, woman, and child?
Say it again.
What does love have to do when they broke down the walls of Jericho?
Well, for one thing, they was told to go possess the land.
Yeah, that wasn't theirs.
It might not have, well, it was going to be theirs. It was
Yeah,
nearly theirs, but somebody was in it.
So, so getteth outeth.
I'm like this. It's just like if
it,
you know you got
hold
something
on,
that
hold on.
belongs to you.
It's not that, Ken. It's not the playback. It's that Henry. can't turn off his echo cancellation. So we have
I
this.
did. I did turn it off just now
It's either you or Mark,
when I left.
unless Lisette is back on.
Everybody double check their cam
Let's
slash mic,
double check.
and then make sure that your echo cancellation is checked. Mine is
Yeah,
checked.
it's checked.
Yeah, mine is checked.
Noise.
Somebody's checked.
How about now?
Oh, it was Mark.
There we go. We're all set. Awesome.
Oh,
Reading, huh?
wow, look at that. Now I can
That's
hear you guys.
amazing. I can hear you.
Wait a minute.
Thank you, Ken.
Mark, do your Weenies market update. Do your Weenies update.
Please.
It wasn't.
I thought you did a good job.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me at all. Is it time for Winnie's weekly market update?
Woo!
It's always time.
Come on, Weenie.
Lay some weenie on me.
Well,
Hey.
are we doing that now then?
It wasn't the echo. It was the Lord helping us vibrate our voices in a thunderous manner. All could
Yeah,
get.
whenever God talks in a movie, he always has an echo chamber.
Pretty cool.
Hey,
Vulgar.
before we
Very
get into
realistic.
Weenies weekly market update, if you are here from being one of Weenie's subscribers, make sure you leave comments so you can be put in the raffle to win more memberships. The more you comment, the more checks I put by your name. So, like the Crooks and Castle says he can hear us loud and clear. That's 2 comments. I already know he's got 2 entries into the pool.
Oh, it's looking good for the Crooks and Castle. Keep it up.
Oh, man.
What are you
That's awesome.
talking about on the update today?
What's that?
What are you going to talk about on the update today?
Oh, I was just going to talk about where I've been the past few weeks. I was going to thank you for all the memberships on stream coming in and telling some great stories as well.
I'm sorry.
Oh, my goodness.
Because of Mark, I've been talking to you for over a year now, and I've never laughed at your voice. But now, because of Mark, every time you talk, I start laughing.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
I tell you,
That was good.
this little knack I have of impersonating people, it's not very endearing, is it?
Oh, well, let's see you do a set, Mark.
I'm actually pretty impressed. You sound exactly like a weenie, which is the goal.
I can do that without trying. It's no problem.
Yeah.
Hey,
An old weenie.
so,
An old
Mark,
limp weenie.
can you do Lisette?
I don't have the hair.
That'll work.
Can you do?
You know what? You know what?
You know what? You know what? Right.
I feel like you know what?
Yeah. You getting there? You getting there?
Sometimes there's like a brain stutter, you know.
I don't think you can do me though. I don't think.
Can you do Keone?
I only imitate people I like.
Well.
Good day, baby Jair is here.
Diesel.
Oh, wait, 3:46 p.m. It must be.
Oh, Diesel just had a baby.
6 pounds.
Oh.
Congratulations! Congratulations!
Congratulations.
Oh,
Yeah, good for you.
wow.
Awesome. That's a
Oh,
big
wow.
baby. No, it's not.
3:46 p.m. Just a few hours old.
Wow.
Wow.
Name the baby Premium.
Send me a picture of that, Diesel, and I'll pull it up in the Discord.
The name of the baby Keone, huh?
Oh my God!
Oh.
Or weenie.
So that's another.
Yeah, name it Weenie.
We'll go ahead and put him.
Post it in the meme section. I'll pull it up.
Got a lot of
I'm still doing my market update.
We got a lot of congratulations. Lisette's gonna bring you in 3 minutes. Weenie, calm down.
I know. I'm just getting it ready.
He's all excited.
What happened to 2023? What we're gonna do?
Well,
Oh,
Yeah.
we got into the religious talk, and
It's good.
now it's 2 minutes until Weenie's weekly market update. And Henry's smoking and drinking. That's
You didn't imitate Henry, Mark.
oh yeah.
No, you can't. I can't do that because that would be what you call cultural appropriation.
I'll fucking do it.
A white person cannot imitate another a non-white person and get away with it.
So I
The,
saw this
the,
girl. I saw this girl in the club, and she was fucking smashed, right? She was fucking smashed, right? And I said, you know what? I can get it. I can get it. So I did my best. I walked up to her, and when I went to say, "Yo," you know what she fucking did? She threw up in my mouth.
there you go. That was pretty good.
That's a Henry story.
That sounds
That
like
is,
it.
yeah.
Wait,
Well,
so is it cultural appropriation if Keone does it or
No,
no?
see, here's the thing. I had to teeter on the line of not trying to make the accent the way I wanted
that's
to,
what you can't do.
because then it would
Ah,
sound like, you know, listen, as a black person, if you talk, I hate this, and I didn't even want to say it, but when people tell you you speak very well, it's actually a freaking insult.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, how the fuck am I supposed to speak?
no.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you don't sound like a black guy. Well, how's a black guy? Because I'm black and there's words coming out of my mouth. So, how's
Well,
the
now
guy supposed to sound?
I'll defend the latter point a little bit though, okay? Because and maybe they don't say it the right way, but I would say that you don't have, and I know there's no such thing as one black accent, but and I wouldn't say that you don't. I would say that you speak well. That is condescending, but I would say that you don't have a, what I would say a common black accent.
So
Is
you
it?
say he sounds like a Caucasian?
Is it? Is
Well,
it?
no, I don't. I mean,
No, 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 hold on.
you do have
Is
somewhat of an
it?
accent, but
Well,
and
Lisette,
also it's from you because
Lisette,
it's also because you're from Miami. So Lisette has a southern accent.
no, Lisette has a country accent. She could be white or black. It wouldn't matter. Are we? Is it? Is the black way that I'm talking? Is it not common, or is it that we think of black people from specific areas? Because
Yeah,
when people think of
right.
black people, they think of how black people talk in a ghetto,
Or
or
well, not just the ghetto,
That's
but
right.
it's southern rural areas. I mean, it's
that,
just
that's what they think of.
yeah,
And
and and say a black accent, say in Kinston, North Carolina, might be quite a bit different from a black accent in New York or Boston.
yeah, but that's not what they're talking about. Because you
Right.
know what? When I moved from Miami, when I went to Texas, white people in Texas and black people in Texas sound the same.
Give an example.
Mississippi
Give us
folks,
a good
they all
example.
sound the same, but it's terminology. When they're talking about that, it's terminology. Sometimes it's an aggressiveness to what I'm saying. I have been pulled over by the police with hand on gun. As soon as I start talking, you can see their facial expression, and the facial expression literally says, "Oh, he's not one of those," and they
Yeah.
relax.
Wow. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah,
That's
I
very
can.
insulting.
I mean, I can't relate obviously to that, but I can kind of see your point.
if I'm not saying the N word or speaking slang, then I don't have a black. I don't talk like a black guy. That's why I
Well,
say.
but it's also it's not quite the
That's
same thing.
true.
But
That's
you
why I
have
say. But no, Mark,
say,
for
white
you,
people with more typical Southern accents than other white people. Say
okay,
some from the South that don't speak
Mhm.
Southern.
Mark, for
Yeah.
you, because you're not an ignorant, bigoted butthole. I'm telling you, when most people say it, what they're talking about, not
No,
you.
I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
that's what I'm saying. You know, it's
And I
like
am an ignorant, bigoted butthole, by the way. So
when a black football player. This is like 15 years ago when they used to do press conferences and they would talk. They would always say he speaks very well, but when the quarterback gets up there and talks, it's expected because they're not black to speak very well. Why is it expected? And
oh,
it's not.
that's condescending. No question about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like saying a person's a credit to his race.
And Teresa is correct, and that's what I'm getting at. Sometimes education has a lot to do with a person's articulate. Because I was
exactly.
born in
That
Goose,
is
Florida,
true.
which is a predominantly poor, drug-infested neighborhood when I was little. But my mom used my grandmother's address and cheated, and I went to school in a different area. So at the predominantly white school, I got treated one way, but then in the neighborhood, I got treated another way because I talked different.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even I've been told you don't sound like you're from the South. And then sometimes when I want to, I am flank
I don't know who that
saying.
was.
Sometimes I try to talk like diet. You know, I enjoy talking like diet sometimes.
Who
Even
told you you don't sound like you're from the South? Was that
Who was
person
that?
here
though, now that's sometimes I don't. Let's say I don't have that accent. You know, I don't do it like I used to because I kind of like talking country, little bit. You know.
There's a lot of things you don't do
I
like
enjoy it.
we ain't gonna get into that. Lisette,
Oh,
what time is it?
The time is, it's time to bring in Weenie Weekly Market Update. All right. Come on, Weenie.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Weenie's Weekly Market Update, where I talk about what happened in the stock market last week. I forecast what might happen to the stock market this next upcoming week, and then I give some stocks to keep an eye on, maybe a few trading tips here and there, and just give you an idea of what's going on overall in the market. So let's get right into it. First up, I want to just thank Keone Productions for sponsoring today's stream. It was so awesome for him to come on in and just donate a ton of memberships. So if you are a new member from Weenie Trades, be sure to thank Keone Stevens or Keone Productions over here. So thank you so much. It was awesome. We were having a blast. And you have to watch today's live stream after this My Perspective Monday, okay? So where have I been the past few weeks? Well, last week and the prior weeks before, I was actually studying for my Chartered Market Technician exam. And if you don't know what a Chartered Market Technician is, I encourage you to Google it. I'm actually really proud of this curriculum that I'm going through. Basically, it's a designation for technical analysts awarded by the CMT Association. And in nerd terms, you're demonstrating a mastery of core body knowledge in both history and the current practice of technical analysis. So I've been studying for the CMT exams. It takes about 3 years to go through the exams. And so I've got 6 months left before I get my Chartered Market Technician designation. I have to pass all the exams. They're 4-hour exams. And I just want to share that knowledge and technical analysis with you guys in the current market today. So that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been doing a lot of studying. And so last time when we were on Weenie's Weekly Market Update, I was saying the market was going to stabilize. No big drops incoming. We're probably going to grind and go sideways to slightly higher. Well, that's exactly what we did. This is what stabilization looks like. We've gone up sideways to slightly higher. And so basically, what do these purple lines really represent? These purple lines represent what the market is pricing in. It's pricing in volatility. What does that really mean? We actually know what the ranges are expected to be for the entire week. There's a lot of calculations that go into it behind the options market and the volatility index. But basically, these purple lines, most of the time, 68% of the time, that's one standard deviation. That just means we're going to mostly stay within this range. And so this upcoming week, we have CPI, and that's just going to talk about how much inflation are we having. So is there going to be a lot more inflation? Is your gas going to be more expensive? Inflation in certain areas. Is there going to be less overall inflation? That's what we're going to be analyzing early tomorrow, 1 hour before the market opens. And then we also have the FOMC. The Federal Reserve is going to be raising interest rates. It's just how much are they going to raise interest rates? If the Federal Reserve keeps on pace with their interest rate cycle, you can probably see the market test these lower ranges. That's about 390 SPY. This is the S&P 500 ETF that tracks most 401ks. And so if the Federal Reserve raises rates about 0.75 basis points, you'll probably see the market sell off. If the Federal Reserve only raises rates like 0.5% or 0.25%, you can probably see the market rally and potentially go up to this 410 to 411 SPY level. So these are just kind of the ranges that we're looking for this upcoming week. And in terms of individual stocks to keep an eye on, last time we talked about nerds, it gave a little bit of a move from 1350. It gave about an 8% upside move. We talked about SQ the other day, down when it was at like $58 a share. That got a 30% up move. And so basically stocks to keep an eye out this week are going to be this stocks, FSLR, solar stocks. FSLR is in a nice strong uptrend and it's recently had a pullback, which means think of our breathing patterns, a nice potential entry into the stock. Again, none of this is financial advice. This isn't a stock tip or anything, but watch what FSLR does. It's sitting at about $150 a share. We'll see if that can't get back up to $160 a share, and maybe in a year or two, potentially up to something like $200 a share. A stock that potentially will probably be dropping is Snapchat. So if you had to pick one stock to buy or one stock to short or watch go down, Snapchat getting destroyed. Used to be, well, if we take a look at the time frame, $83 a share, now sitting at about $9 a share. So Snapchat investors have gotten destroyed in the past year, and it's probably going to continue. I don't see Snapchat being here in the long run. Let me know if you guys use Snapchat. Comment down below on this video. Have you used Snapchat? Do you use Snapchat? And then one last stock to just keep an eye out for is CAT, C-A-T. No, not the cat Parker, not the cat Peter over here. This is Parker right here. He's just sitting here with us. But Caterpillar stock, and it's actually a seasonal stock that tends to do pretty well during this time period, and it is in bullish chart formations that could potentially break out. So keep an eye on CAT stock. In terms of events, shout out to member Diesel. Here's his baby, Jahir, just born a couple of hours ago. Very cute. I love seeing what's up in the lives of Weenie Trades members, and Diesel's been a member for a really long time, super active in the community. And so we've got a lot more new members thanks to Keone. So let's check this out as well. I wanted to touch on a little bit of events. Tuesday, 4:15 p.m. Eastern, beginner traders. We're going to be going over setups, how to set up a broker, stock basics. You have to join Club Romulus, and Club Romulus has been killing it. Just in the past couple of weeks, these have been some of the trades, and these aren't even updated with the newest winning trades this past week. So amazing returns from Club Romulus. Let me know if you're interested in joining that. On Friday, I've got CEO Daryl Martin from Apex Trader Funding for an interview. That's 11 a.m. Eastern. Saturday, if you're interested in building a trade plan, there's going to be a 4-hour webinar that I'm doing. You have to message me for the link. It used to be $1,000 to get in. I think you can get in for about $100. Let me know if you're interested in that. And then most importantly, 7 p.m. Eastern, 12/22/22, I'm going to be doing a masterclass with my mentors, Romulus and Brandon Carter. And yes, Keone is a mentor. Even though I've said it the first time today, he reminded me that he is another life mentor. So come join me and meet some of my other mentors as well. This is the little flyer that we have for that. So take a screenshot, mark your calendar, and I'll get that link out to you if you just send me a message. But that's all I have in today's Weenie's Weekly Market Update. We gave some stocks. Market into the end of the year is probably going to chop and go sideways. So no big drops, no big moves higher. I'll update you at Weenie Trades Live. Or actually, Weenie Trades Live is now called Greg's Trading Place. So that can be a lot of fun. Come join me at Greg's Trading Place. I'm still Weenie. You can call me Weenie Trades. It's still Weenie Trades. It's just changed for the algorithm. And that has been working so far. So shout out to all the new subscribers. Let's get back to My Perspective Monday. Thanks for tuning on in to Weenie's Weekly Market Update.
Okay, we're on now. The question: why is Snapchat hurting?
Great question. It's declining users. So Snapchat's been hurting because they're not getting as many users.
Really?
I think their ad program is terrible. I don't know if you've ever looked on the news tab on Snapchat. If you click on something, it goes through like an ad like every 3 seconds, and it's just terrible. And it's like I probably would have listened for the entire story, but there's just so many ads that I just don't even spend a lot of my time on Snapchat anymore. So declining user activity, declining users. They're not making enough money on their users. And there's more and more competition. Snapchat, it's cool, but it's not probably going to be here for the long run.
Huh. So okay. You remember Snapchat, sometimes businesses make changes that they don't need to change. everyone here has had something to where they do an update that made it worse than what it was, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's a computer. Well, I think which Kardashian was it? Kylie Jenner. So a year ago, um, Kylie Jenner left Snapchat because of the updates, and they lost $1.3 billion because a whole
Boom.
crap load of people left with her.
Well,
So
perfect.
sometimes, yeah, that can happen. Twitch is going through that right now. A lot of big
Mm.
Twitch streamers have gone over to YouTube TV.
Mm.
So it's sometimes
Interesting.
people make calculations business wise. You, and some of it has to do with greed. Some businesses want to make more money. That's their job. But sometimes when you're trying to squeeze certain people and they have a large enough community, they just leave because that community is going to follow them. You
Yeah.
know, that community is going to follow them. So it's a
Supply
lot.
and demand.
Yeah,
Wow.
a lot of things.
Well, Netflix made a mistake some years back and rectified it. They jacked up prices and people left. J.C. Penney also did some stupid stuff, I'm told.
Yep. Yeah, J.C. Penney basically stock almost went to zero. I think Netflix has it's not going to be around in a couple of years.
Really?
That's my opinion based off the research that I've done and me and my mentor
I don't
Romulus.
see
So
much
there's
good coming. I don't keep as
Wow.
close to the ear as you do, obviously, but I don't see very much good on Netflix anymore.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean it's cool, it's nice to have, but again, there's increasing competition, there's password sharing, and their margins aren't that big. And yeah, the compelling content, it's like okay,
yeah.
and then
There's a lot of
all it
shows.
takes is another
Yeah,
streaming service to take over
Interesting.
there's
and
a
people
lot of
switch over.
on Netflix that I like a lot. Some of the comments that we missed because we were talking a lot, which is always good. Diesel said, "Same here, Keone. I get that all the time. I guess that's when we were talking about people
The
telling you to
accent.
speak well." Clarence says,
Uh,
"The insult that I get is you are not like the rest of them."
yeah, like what?
You an
That's so
alien.
savage. Like, oh
I
my
used to
goodness.
get that all the time. I had a friend in high school. His dad was so racist, and I said, "Well, why do you let me around?" Because I was friends with his son, and he used to get in an argument with his son all the time. And his son's like, "Dad, I don't have the energy to hate people like you do."
Yeah.
Um, but
Wow.
my friend said one time, "Will you let John come over here?" Well, he's not like the other N words. Oh,
Ooh.
okay.
He's one of
Oh,
he's one of
Ugly,
them.
ugly, ugly.
All right. Lissette
Jeez.
said, "Thank you, everyone, for your comments and keep them coming." Bryce, of course, said, "Greg's a pretty sharp guy.
oh,
She
thank
has
you.
50% stake
He
in
is.
his future life, so she has to say that."
Yeah,
uh,
it means less coming from her.
I only use Snapchat for communication. I don't look at the news and events anymore. Most of the people that I know that are still on Snapchat are on Snapchat to send naughty things to each other. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought Snapchat was for people to send dick pics.
Yeah, disappearing. He's not lying, Mark. That's what a lot of
That's right.
people.
And those babies are dropping.
Yeah, because Tumblr. That was a big thing with Tumblr, and they got rid of all the smut, and like almost everybody I knew that was using Tumblr doesn't use it anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey,
Wow.
it's since the beginning of time. Sex sells. It's
Yeah.
never gonna change.
Yeah.
Sex sells.
I said the word sex on stream today. I said it like 4 times, and the numbers on the stream just started bumping in. Like literally, like 20 people just teleported into my chat
Oh,
room
Mark,
as
I
soon as I
was,
said the word sex.
I was on Weedy's stream, and I'm a moderator.
Yeah.
And I was getting ready to leave. I had to keep blocking people because I was like, "What are all the what the hell
Sex
is
sells.
this
I'm
coming in?"
telling you.
You know you've made it on YouTube when the porn ads start invading your live chat.
I don't know about that.
That's when you've made it. You know
Yeah.
you've
You'll start getting impersonators and then people trying to scam you using your name, and it's
That's
awful.
crazy.
And then what that can do is that can like create scandals around your name. And you're like, yeah.
Well, tell me this about 2023.
You
One of the things that yourself in society. I hope society continues the upward trend on the awareness of mental health. I love all these mental health apps that are out. And you get a lot of people, sorry, a lot of older people that go, "What's going on these days? In my day, we were tougher." It's like, no, you weren't. You just couldn't say anything. You know how many homes had dads that would come home and beat the shit out of everybody because they didn't know how to control their depression and
They
mental
know how to
health,
let it out.
or they would just go to the bar straight from home, and their remedy was to get stupid drunk and then come home. If you were a kid, you had no right to say anything. So
Yeah.
these things, people act like this stuff is new. This stuff is not new. It's just that we're allowed to deal with it now.
We have those phones.
Well,
Absolutely.
You
that's
know,
a good thing to deal with mental health. It really is. It's a great
it's a
thing.
lot of. I like the openness of today. It's a lot of things like people who act like girls just started getting pregnant as teenagers recently. Like, what's going on with the youth? It's like, no, that's been happening. You know how many people become an adult and find out that
They just go to another state back then.
their mom is really their grandma, or their mom is really their aunt. They got sent off away because they got pregnant early, and it shamed the family. Like,
Right.
stuff is not new.
It's
First
not
mention of
new.
prostitution.
They was doing it back there in the Mayans days, way back there.
Well,
All
let
the
me
crazy stuff they were
throw
doing.
in Lisette, the first example or mention of prostitution in the Bible, in the book of
Hmm.
Genesis.
Okay.
Judah, Judah and his daughter-in-law. Judah
Mm-mm-mm.
hired his daughter-in-law as a prostitute unknowingly. Didn't know it was his daughter-in-law.
Yeah,
That was
he
your
sure
first
did.
example of prostitution in the Bible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
he
was
did.
also a lot of incest in the beginning, but we're not going to get into that.
Oh yeah, there was
You
a lot
know,
of stuff going on. Little nasty
I
stuff going on.
That's why we shouldn't hate each other. We're all related. It wasn't nasty. Let's sit there. If you're the only woman and guys on Earth, there's a chance you're going to sleep with each other. If there's 5 guys in the entire world,
Yep.
5 women.
I'm,
Now I'm no expert on this, and correct me
I'm
if
talking
I'm
about
wrong, but wasn't there
more.
like a time back like in the Ice Age where there's only like a couple thousand people on Earth that survived, and they all like
Yes.
breeded, and
Well,
Yeah.
not on Earth,
were
not
the
on Earth, but in a community, yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. Community
yeah.
probably is the better
I mean, you
word.
didn't
And so
travel
like
more than
we could
10
be
miles
like
from the place.
brothers and sisters.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
Like
all
there's a
you
lot
didn't
of
travel more than 10
intermingling.
miles from the place of your birth your entire life. So, yeah, you're going to marry your cousins and your in-laws and all that.
Well,
It
And
there
goes
you
right
go.
back to say that we're all connected. I don't think there's no pure race, okay? I think we're all
No,
connected.
no.
in those
no.
in those areas where it was 6 to 1 men to women, and half of the women were taken. What did you think? How did you think men were being sexually gratified? Huh? How did you just think about that for a second? Yeah, homosexuality just started like 100 years.
Self-love.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, that works for a little bit.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow.
That is true. There's a lot of cave painting with titties and booties.
Well, maybe that's why it kept them going. I mean, kept them pace of
Oh
time.
yeah. You see, that's why
It's not like
I
they
don't know
had
why
TV or anything.
I don't know why people have anything against prostitution. Those things give men hopes and dreams. Like the men that can't get any girls, like imagine how sad life would be if you're virgin until you died and shit.
You
Listen,
you
And
really
then
need
and then
Well,
prostitution comes in,
you
and
need
all
to
you have
write
is a
that's
one
the
good friend.
prostitution
you
is
need
on y'all joy, not necessarily the woman. See,
you,
not the
you,
woman at
you
all.
Well, I
Henry,
mean,
you
women
need
can
you
do
need to
That's
something
write
not
your own
too.
nice.
column. Trust me. You just
Henry,
you
Mhm.
got to get that out there
I
somewhere.
think the
Write a
problem.
book or a column or something.
I think the problem with prostitution was less that a man or whoever's being gratified, more as when you have married people sneaking in the brothels, people transmitting STDs because they're sneaking off to have sex with prostitutes, and the fact that no one really says, hey, when I grow up, I want to be a prostitute, so 98% of prostitutes don't want to be prostitutes. So it's a whole lot of other reasons
Exactly.
why
Well,
Especially
it's
the
just like
children.
I mean, if you say it that way, just like strippers, there's no girls growing up be like, "Hey, Dad, Mom, I want to be
Whoa,
a
that's not
stripper."
true. You should have grew up in my neighborhood. I had plenty of girls saying they wanted to be a stripper, but not one of them said I wanted to be a prostitute. Okay, not
What do you
one of them
mean?
said
It's okay as long as it's filmed. That's what they say.
what.
Right
Well,
answer.
pretend it was y'all. I can't imagine all four of y'all as prostitutes.
Bryce, did you just hear what Greg just said?
Well, isn't yeah, isn't it like illegal if you don't film it, and then it's legal if you do film it?
Well, what are you talking.
Maybe
You know
I'm
what?
just
I will keep that in
am I
mind next
behind the
time.
times?
Everybody watching this.
It was a Family Guy joke. So on Family Guy, they like busted in, like the police like busted in, and it was a man and a woman having sex, and they're like, prostitution is illegal, and they're like, no, it's not. We're filming it, and they're like, oh, okay, you're filming it. It's okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I need to
and they're
watch.
saying
I
it's
need
a
to watch. I need to
Naughty,
watch more
naughty,
Family Guy. That's
naughty.
how you get
Right?
educated.
Yeah, seriously.
Watching Peter Griffin.
I was just making
Come
a
on,
comment. I'm
you
no
boogers.
expert though in
I
this.
thought you were actually about to cite like something.
Oh no.
You started off with
Family
family.
Guy.
Family
Oh
Guy.
my
You sure it
god.
wasn't The
Story of
Simpsons? You
Family
took?
Guy.
Now just think about it. Think it was your children.
Oh my god. Let's not get me
Well,
on the save the children.
I mean,
Okay.
if
The
if
hell
my
with the
kid
children.
comes up to me and tells me, "Hey, Dad, that woman wants to pay me to fuck," I'll be like, "Oh shit, damn, all right, shit."
No, Henry.
You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that.
No, Henry, stop it.
You wouldn't do it. Come on, Henry.
Hey, children, and Mark can agree with me because he was a college, he's been a college professor for a long time. And I'm sorry, just because you're 18 to 21 does not mean you're an adult. That's just the legal age that says you're an adult. It still doesn't mean you're an adult. But children
Oh no.
are just like everyone else. There's some winners and there's a whole lot of a-holes. Okay? So just because they're a kid does not mean anything. Ken Stevenson says prostitution is not going anywhere. I don't know if he's saying that because it's like, yes, or he's saying that as a bad
Oh yeah,
thing.
I mean, I know there's ugly guys in the world. Prostitution would say.
Hmm. Ugly in their heart. Ugly.
No, don't
I
start.
have to ask. I have to ask
Monsters.
Henry a question. Henry, have you ever visited Amsterdam?
No.
If you did, you'd never come back.
He'd be dead in a week.
Mhm.
He'd be broken. He'd be broke in a week.
Everything, and you know what? Those places that I've been, like Makarska and
Have you ever been to Amsterdam, Mark?
yes,
Yes.
Amsterdam.
Yeah. What was it like?
The red light district, enlightening.
It's not even the district. Like Amsterdam and Makarska, places that I've been where everything is legal, people actually do it less. Like in Makarska, everything is legal. Drugs are legal. Everything's legal, and there's rarely anybody doing drugs.
But
It's
the qualifying thing, at least with
Sample
Amsterdam,
size?
is it is legal,
Works not
but it's
special.
heavily regulated.
Yeah.
So it's illegal to be a hooker under a street lamp, but it's legal if you have a license, et cetera, and go through health screenings and that type of thing.
Yeah.
So it's just heavily regulated. So it's not legal to stand on the street and do it. But
Mm.
Well,
so,
it's like in Nevada where
I
prostitution
mean,
is legal in
in
towns.
in that way, wouldn't Thailand be better?
Wouldn't what?
Thailand.
Why? You like ladyboys?
No, Bangkok. I heard it's better than Amsterdam.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I've never been to Thailand.
Cheaper.
The difference is Bangkok is sometimes you get back to your room and find out that your girl's not a girl.
Hey, some people are into that shit.
Most of those
Well, that's
prostitutes
something.
out there are made to be prostitutes. I don't think nobody should made to have sex with them with anyone.
Well, and that's not
Nobody
necessarily
should be
true. I mean,
made to do
it
that.
depends on what you mean by maid as well, because in Amsterdam,
Tortured and
the
made.
women they may have a sad story or whatnot, but the police in Amsterdam constantly interview these people to make sure they're not being trafficked and are not being held against their will.
Of course they're gonna say that. They scared of the
No,
guilt.
no, they know how to look for signs. You know,
It's not like if you were in Germany or England or places where prostitution is not legal. In Amsterdam, it is a profession. It's not like here where some girl gets snatched at 12 and gets forced into prostitution. That's
Right.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
But how do you know? How do you know? Because they can
you
always
know, just
lie.
like you go work for McDonald's when you come in here and say, I want to apply to be a prostitute.
Some
because
of them be
and,
lying.
I'm not saying that I wholeheartedly endorse this the idea of what they do. It's just that I know, and because I've talked with law enforcement officers that they patrol it very heavily, very regulated, and they look out for signs of women being forced into prostitution. Now they may have a sad story that kind of got them there. I don't doubt that, and I'm not saying it's right. But as far as the idea of the sex workers, they don't call them prostitutes, but the sex workers in Amsterdam, the business is heavily regulated, just like any so-called vice, drugs, whatnot, to make sure that doesn't happen. And
What
there's a
about the
long-standing
men? They
tradition of it.
prostituting too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shame.
What do
Well,
you?
I'm not saying I agree with it. It's just that's the way it is, though. But
Well, it's
I
not
think
a
it's,
shame if it's a choice. It's a
They
shame.
regulate the dopamine
Still a
over
yeah.
there.
No, it's not a shame if it's a choice. It's a shame if it's not a choice. It's not a
Well,
shame.
they have health screenings and whatnot. So I mean, it's
Look,
safe. I mean, you can debate the morality of it, but it's safe.
it's something that
Wow, I had no idea.
I
Wow,
don't want to be a
learned
prostitute.
something new.
I know where Greg's going pretty
I don't want
soon.
to
Yeah.
be a
Bryce, we're going to Amsterdam
I'm not going to shame someone. That's their chosen profession.
for research purposes.
I've chosen.
Okay,
Go
yeah, you're gonna
Thailand.
like.
It's cheaper.
Interesting.
Well, okay. Let me two things here. All right. First off, no to Thailand. I've never been, but I'm not going to have a prostitute in Thailand because one, it might be a dude, and two, the next day you're in a shower and stuff starts falling off your body. All right. So forget Thailand. But Greg,
Right? Gross.
with the sex workers in Amsterdam, though, I did a tour once, and it was led by two women in their 70s.
You did a tour of. Wait, never mind. Go ahead.
Yes, the red light district. Yeah,
Yeah.
and these two
Wow.
twins, the Falcons twins, and I said, I said you were an ex-sex worker. They said there's no such thing as an ex-sex worker. Okay, so they were sex workers for like 50 years,
Oh.
and never actually retired. So
Wow.
it's just
Once
it's a
you're
long,
in the game, you never leave.
yeah.
Exactly. There's a lot of willing prostitution, and there's a lot of prostitution that's not willing too.
Yeah, but that's when we were talking about the willing one. We all know the sex trafficking, the terrible stories of people
Of
being
course.
snatched. I was in Korea. There were a lot of people that were prostitutes that did not want to be prostitutes and that were brought there from other countries and had to pay back a certain amount of money. Some of them amounts of money that they could never pay back to get
Right.
their freedom. And one of the ways that they used to get free was marrying an American soldier, and then that was a way of them to get free. But we're talking about the people who are willingly doing it. When people, the whole thing with like shit, like for instance, if you're not a person who's into certain things, like there's people who, hey, the dopamine's in their brain, they love orgies. Okay, I'm not going to shame that person. If you want to go out and have sex with 8 people at a time, it makes you happy. That's your business. That don't mean I got to tell you you're disgusting and shame you, because there's things I do that if I were to admit it, you'd be like shamed. Everybody's got something that's shameful. You know
We'll have to figure
what,
those
John?
out someday. Yeah.
what? I'm a
What-
grown up.
What are some of those things?
I tell you one thing.
Yeah.
A lot of
Do
people.
you lick the feet?
I tell
Here
you,
comes a viewership right now.
my sexual gratification is not going to be dictated by anybody else's morals, because I'm the one that needs to be gratified.
Dictated, no pun intended, right?
You want to have your boring sex only in missionary because you feel like if you do it some other way, your dead grandma's going to see you. That's your business, okay? I'm going to have sex to not be gratified.
All these pictures are all
You're
getting
getting
that now. Oh,
explicit
God.
tonight.
Imagery.
Hey, is Grind the Grown one of yours, Lee?
Grind to growth is one of mine.
You got to write down his name. Put him in the raffle.
Thanks for tuning on in, you
I'm
guys.
just saying.
Wow.
Growth.
Okay, Ken. Where does Ken get no? You over here shaming me, Lisette. Ken the one with all this knowledge of prostitutes and OnlyFans, and Ken's got everything.
Ken's an expert.
That's what happens. If you grow up sheltered, you become the most wild.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I bet you Ken knows the whole Kama Sutra.
100% too.
Well, Ken.
Hey, Lisette, don't say well, Ken. You don't need to know the answer to that.
Well, Ken.
You don't need to know the answer to that.
Wow.
Wow, well, it was a great. Wow, we.
Now, what was the topic?
Yeah, what was the topic?
So what are your
I told
goals
you.
in 2023? Maybe that can be our final thoughts.
Yeah,
What
forget.
was the?
Well, it's just forget society in 2023. You can't do that. So,
Hey, in my defense, I said 3 things towards the topic today, and one of them was to 2023, the continuation of the awareness of mental health and talking about it, and not doing this thing where you say, "Oh, honey, you just have the blues. Oh, just pray about it, and you'll be all right." Nothing wrong with praying. I pray, but If
My
you
thing was take care of yourself.
in God, God made people smart enough to be psychologists, psychiatrists. Get you some damn help.
Anybody else, real quick, want to say something on the topic about the, for society? Is it a question for a conversation? Should
Okay,
I don't think so.
Bryce and Ken Stevenson, you are both
Definitely.
in time out for the rest of the show. And then here's Ken.
That's a whole nother My Perspective Monday episode. Right
Ken and
there.
Bryce are just having a ball today.
Yeah.
Woo!
We need about 4 hours to.
God, it used to be a habit. Woo!
Hey, I'm glad you
Oh,
kicked it.
Wow.
where?
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Where would
Ken's
they?
been
I
through everything.
cannot go around that place.
Wow.
Oh my
Legalize. No, this should be legalized.
It is funny. All right, guys. Well,
Interesting.
we didn't talk about the topic today except for a couple bits, but I think we had a fun night. I think it was
It
enjoyable.
was fun.
It was very good. We talked. So what did we talk about today? We talked about. We went from religion.
Prostitution.
We talked about prostitution. We talked about sexual gratification.
Yeah.
Well, we know that
Religion.
Greg is Googling Amsterdam right now, or will soon.
Wait, we cannot leave till Mark does one more weenie impersonation.
Oh, oh boy.
Tune it.
It's okay, Mark.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah.
And may all your financial decisions be wise ones. Tune in next time for My Perspective Mondays.
Yes, that is correct.
That
I
sounds
could have done it better myself.
Oh my
That was
god!
awesome.
Oh my god!
Spoken like a true weenie.
Go ahead and wish everybody a happy holidays in your weenie voice, and that will be our perfect ending.
Bye-bye.
Mark?
Oh, I thought you meant him. Okay.
No, you.
Well, happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa, happy Chanukah, and Merry Christmas from Weenie.
Oh, so we ain't gonna put the Black Christmas holiday in there. All right.
That was good.